Hello to everyone on the Brandon Hall Group Awards panel who's watching this video. Before I get into the presentation of the MySpace platform, I'll quickly introduce myself. My name is Ben Krushkoff and I'm a senior trainer at the Language Grid, better known as TLG. I've been working with the company and on the MySpace platform for the last couple of years or so. I'm not a director or shareholder in the company in any way, and I've made this presentation myself. The words are all my own and my views honest and truthful. Any opinions given are based on using MySpace to deliver training to our clients on a daily basis. So without further ado, let's get started. Firstly, MySpace is accessible either via PC, which I'm on today, or a mobile device using an application downloaded from the App Store. Clients need to log on to the platform, which is not accessible to the general public. I'll log into the trial version of the Learner platform for the purpose of this presentation. On the left-hand side, you can see some key stats relating to that particular student. In this case, it's student test. The TLG grade is a formative one, taking into account the student's performance during passive lessons, the prep work they do prior to their active sessions with one of our trainers, the performance in the active sessions themselves, based on their language accuracy and ability to perform specific tasks, their performance on any course-related assessed tasks, and their general attendance. The TLG grade changes every couple of weeks and is a great yardstick for our students in terms of how well they can perform the business-related skills they're being taught in English. The proficiency grade below that is summative and aligns to the Common European Framework of Language Assessment. Unlike the TLG grade, this score doesn't change regularly. Students take a proficiency test via the platform at the start of their course and then again at the end. The scores give every student a clear understanding of their proficiency level in English, and by comparing entry and exit test scores, they and we can monitor their improvement following their participation on the course. These results are then presented to the client companies. Beneath these grades are some basic course statistics and ratings relating to the learner's performance on the leaderboard in Geekbutton, which I'll explain a little later on. Likewise, the three icons seen on the left are connected to the grid, an online forum hosted on MySpace, which I'll show you shortly. Students have the option to change their name, profile pic, etc. via the Complete Profile button at the bottom of the left-hand toolbar. This allows them to interact with other learners anonymously outside of their sessions and in other parts of the site. Moving across to the icons in the main body of the platform, let's start with the eTrainer button. As I believed is mentioned in the application, the eTrainer is far and away our most popular course and is undertaken by around 90% of all students exclusively using MySpace. Each client is required to complete a number of exercises hosted in this section during a passive lesson they complete at home, prior to practicing the target language and skills they've learnt during a corresponding active lesson with their trainer. It's where and how most of the flip learning we practice takes place. For example, let's look at the leadership series. The test student needs to complete eTrainer 27 before their corresponding active session with their trainer. They're given clear objectives related to the skill they're learning, here it's self-management. Then watch a video, answer a number of questions on what they've just seen, and then complete a number of other skills and language-based tasks prior to hitting the Confirm button on the final touchpoint. On the final touchpoint, they're typically given another task to do, such as read an article or write an email, which they'll then share with their trainer when they meet. Each e-trainer is automatically marked by the platform, and the student instantly receives their corresponding grade. Only once the passive part of the lesson is completed are students able to undertake the active session of the same lesson with their trainer. It is during these active sessions where learning by doing takes place, following adaptable tasks which are client-centric in nature. Trainers ensure the active sessions are full of high-pressured moments, allowing for reflex learning to take place. Learners are required to pre-book their active sessions via the calendar button, which is a very simple and intuitive process. Most students will book recurring lessons at an appropriate time with their regular trainer based on their availability, although they do have the option to work with another random trainer if they prefer to diversify who teaches them. The regular trainer is changed after every 12 sessions, however, to ensure that all students get to experience working with a number of different individuals from different countries. On the day and time of the active session, the student simply needs to enter the video booth, which they do by clicking the icon on the right. Their trainer will be waiting for them, typically in the proprietary video platform that's built into MySpace, although we've also integrated Teams into the platform, both as a backup option and to deliver team teaching sessions. The trainer is given a session plan to follow, which is related to the passive part of the lesson the student has already completed. In each session, the student is given a task to fulfill related to the lesson objectives, although as mentioned before, trainers are free and encouraged to adapt the content and structure of the session plan to fit the individual in front of them. At the end of every session, the trainer discusses the grades they have given to their learner and saves these along with a list of grammatical corrections in a session plan, which we'll look at a little later on. The corrections and overall grades are then emailed to the learner, but can also be accessed on MySpace at any time. A similar process occurs for our non-e-trainer courses, which are accessed from the Masterclass icon. This is where the associate program is hosted, which follows a similar pattern to the e-trainer course but without the required passive sessions. Trainers either follow the session plan provided or work with a client who are typically at a senior executive level and can focus on any project the student needs to do in real life, such as delivering speeches and presentations. You can, of course, also find the various courses in our Masterclass series in the appropriately named section of the platform. Students undertaking any of these courses follow the same booking routine on MySpace as those doing the e-trainer and access the sessions with their trainer in exactly the same way. But MySpace isn't just a piece of edtech for the delivery of our courses. It offers a suite of exclusive resources to further bolster our clients' learning. Firstly, there's the Grid, TLG's online forum, where students interact with each other and our trainers outside of sessions. There are a variety of sub-forums and topics in the Grid, some related to business, others more social, where students share their opinions and experiences and get into debates using English. It's a safe space kept out of the public domain and allows learners to practice their reading and writing skills anonymously, if they so wish, on topics that are relevant to their lives. Our clients have permanent access to their results on the platform. And, in the leaderboard section, they can compare their performance and ranking to other users on the platform, including those from the same company and team. It sometimes gets quite competitive amongst them. Access to the full leaderboard has been restricted in the student test version of MySpace, but as you can see, league tables are broken down into specific sections. The Geek button provides all those with access to MySpace a chance to refine their English skills in several areas. Their responses to a set of questions, increasing in difficulty, are timed and assessed automatically. There are also a number of other exclusive resources to support the learning of business English and cultural nuances in the resources section of MySpace, including a grammar manual with appropriate rules and examples, the local lowdown, which looks at Anglophonic countries and how they differ culturally, especially in terms of doing business and their language, the vocab builder, which lists all the phrasal verbs studied in our courses and provides appropriate definitions, and the further reading section, a regularly updated library of resources, including articles and videos related to business English. Elsewhere on MySpace, there is an assessment section, which explains in great detail how we determine the proficiency scores of each student, as well as how we calculate the all-important TLG grade. There's a section of tutorial videos which explain how to use MySpace in detail for any new client that's struggling, and a business glossary, an A to Z of useful business English words and phrases, alongside the correct terminology for roles and departments within corporate structures. Finally, in terms of other additional features in the current version of the Learner's MySpace, there's the Contact button, where learners can write to various departments of TLG with any comments, issues or complaints they may have, thus saving them time to go into their email and finding the right address. There's some general info about the language grid, including answers to the most commonly asked questions, and a Meet the Team section where students can learn about each of the site's trainers, including watching an introductory video about them. Overall, I can say that the vast majority of my own learners have taken full advantage of the platform and all its extra features and functions. It's certainly enabled them to develop both their English and general communication skills, and is a really fantastic piece of edtech to use. It should be noted that we trainers also access MySpace to deliver our sessions, although in a slightly modified version. The only real differences are that it provides trainers access to our clients' passive lessons, so we can see where our students have been making mistakes, any session prep work that our students may have done to mark or correct, and a My Clients page which lists each trainer's current cohort of learners. From this page, trainers have access to the session plans for each of their students, which they follow and complete during each session. Both student and trainer versions of MySpace are interlinked, so there is a constant sharing of data and feedback between the two. And that's pretty much it for now. If you've got any more questions, please feel free to email the Language Grid and our CEO, Zoe Flaherty. Thank you.